Blog Talk Radio.
In 1649, to St George's Hill, a ragged band they called the Diggers came to show the people's will. They defied the landlords, they defied the laws. They were the dispossessed, reclaiming what was theirs. We come in peace, they said, to dig and sow. We come to work the lands in common and to make the waste grounds grow. This earth divided we will make whole, so it will be a common treasury for all. The sin of property we do disdain. No man has any right to buy and sell the earth for private gain. By theft and murder they took the land. Now everywhere the walls spring up at their command. They make the laws to chain us well. The clergy dazzle us with heaven, or they damn us into hell. We will not worship the God they serve, the God of greed who feeds the rich while poor men starve. We work, we eat together, we need no swords. We will not bow to the masters or pay rent to the lords. We are free men, though we are poor. You diggers all stand up for glory, stand up now.
Yeah, welcome back. I do like to try different tunes to start the show. I'll find one that I love in the future. But we're talking tonight about Arthur Rafferty Sr. He's shot dead by Freddie Scappaticci and the alleged PSNI and Ombudsman cover-up in Northern Ireland. We're talking to Arthur Rafferty Junior tonight. Just to let you know, part one was good and very good, and we're going to have part two now. We'll put it all together to YouTube and podcasts. It's on iTunes and fintalkradio.co.uk. So we're talking about why rogue Irish police officers colluded with the IRA during the Troubles and even stopped senior members being arrested. Former Republican intelligence chief claims. That was about the book I mentioned at the beginning of the first show. But it's interesting that Irish police tipped off the IRA about planned arrests and other little things. Maybe that's why you've got no justice for your particular cause. I know I did throw that question in the end of the last show that, you know, the inquiry into Scappaticci by Bolger from Bedfordshire Chief Constable Police, you know, is going to arrest people in the future. He says the IRA murders have got to be accounted for. But I said to you, why is your dad so important? Not to get justice for your dad, but all the other fathers will get justice. And yeah, I'm still a little bit baffled on that one, because why arrest 10 other people, or 2 people that killed 10 other victims, but for your particular father, they want to cover it up? You know, me personally, I've accepted the fact that they could have failures, like the police ombudsman, but destroying evidence is not a failure. That is corruption and collusion. It doesn't matter whether you're in 1974, 2024, or 1544. You know, they all use the same or similar methods. You know, the evidence, put it in a bag. Simple. Over to you, Arthur.
Just to add a wee bit on to what Michael McGuire says, the police ombudsman also discovered the RUC destroyed the weapon used in my father's murder, even though it had been used in 4 other different killings. The gunman's balaclava, boiler suit, gloves all disappeared, as did spent rounds of cartridges found at the scene of Arthur Rafferty's the crime. Also, Arthur Rafferty's clothes and jewellery. Now, the police ombudsman says it could find no rational reason as to why these earrings were destroyed or went missing. But Arthur Rafferty Jr. has no doubts about why this all happened to protect their ARA double agent Freddie Scappaticci. He or Scappaticci has protected from the moment he murdered my father. I hope to see him brought back to Belfast and put on trial. But let's face it, that isn't going to happen because it would bring down Stormont and the whole of the British government and the police for employing people like him. Hundreds of people like him would have to be disbanded. Now, Barra McCrory says he's looking into it. He may as well look into a goldfish bowl because Scappaticci will be looked after until the day he dies. And that's my story of him. I have no faith at all in that police ombudsman because simple reason, if the name suits him, police ombudsman, he works for George Hamilton.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, I can understand if, we get a child abuse investigation or another investigation where they go to another police force for, help. That is a good practice. But when it involves 2 countries or 3 countries in some cases, because I've reported on other stories that involve 3 countries, I don't think the police should be able to investigate these type of stories. But having said that, what other body could investigate it? Because we know if we could get 2 people from each side of the problem and then get a chairman who's official, but we rely on our law so much in our United Kingdom and Great Britain and Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland. We rely on our legal system, our lawful police system, too much, I think. And in the case of multiple murders by an organisation, and it wasn't just the IRA, I mean, let's face it, all the other groups were just equally murderers as they was, but it shouldn't be a police force investigating this. No court, no this, no that. It should be someone at least from abroad, from Europe or beyond, that has specialities in probably gun crimes, war crimes, maybe The Hague. Maybe they should have investigated this. Having said that, they're just as corrupt as... How can you get an independent agency or people to investigate such a wide problem, such as the Northern Ireland issues?
You're absolutely right there, Andy, because when you look at it, from my point of view, why should they bring British police over here to look into the RUC, who is run by the British government? If they had brought a foreign force in, a French force or somewhere. But no, to bring them in to look after what the RUC and also the British Army has been doing here for the past 40 years. They'll say no, they'll say nothing here, but it's costing the taxpayer millions of pounds.
And I hope the MPs in the London and UK government, the members of the Scottish Parliament, the members of the Northern Ireland Assembly, if you care to listen to this second part, I know with certain people you have to, put your statement in 2 lines, which, that's bloody horrific. It's not fair, To get someone's attention, you need to say it in 2 lines. Okay, then. Freddie Scappaticci murdered Arthur Rafferty Sr. Let's investigate. PSNI's covered it up, allegedly. I have to say allegedly, because I don't have anything to prove otherwise. But that's the 2 lines. But, if people only listen to the show properly, send an email, andy@freedomtalkradio.co.uk, or send a phone call to Arthur Rafferty. His phone number's all over the internet, the foundation, and the YouTube channel. Then we'll understand, what to do in the future. because you'll give us guidance. We're only assuming what's going on, but I'm sure Arthur knows in his heart his dad was murdered by Scappaticci. Brendan was a good example of a witness, although he's dead now. But it was a good example. He had no reason not to tell the truth. And we already know that the Ombudsman said the IRA murdered Arthur Rafferty at 12 Newton Street in 1974 in August. So there you go.
That's what I'm saying, Andy. See, I'm fighting here alone battle here. I'm doing my best, but I told my father when he lay on his deathbed that I would sort his murder out, and I will. I know the man that murdered him. The police know the man that murdered him, but they can't say, yes, he worked for us, because that would put them in a position. The people in Britain would be saying, well, how can a so-called police force hire people like that, a mass murderer like that, and pay him out of the public purse and know what he's doing is wrong, after all. And we voted sure to come out of the EU. It didn't do us any good. Britain overruled us again and says we're in it, and that's it. And as I'm saying, Andy, if you don't mind, I'll speak about that court case.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've got loads of time, half an hour plus, so carry on. I mean, we're just giving more examples of the intimidation that you've experienced. You've mentioned about the police stopping you a lot of times. More than once a week, you've got bad luck, but 3 times a week, that's intimidation. Anyway, carry on about the court case.
That's what I'm saying, Andy. They have went out of their way just to harass and humiliate me and attempt to put me down. So if I died in the morning, they would have a party. They would say, well, he's gone. But a judge in the court here in Belfast asked me to come in and speak to her in the court. I wasn't in court, and I just outside the court. And she threatened me that her one of the lawyers that she knows, my granddaughter's taken a case against him for committing perjury against her. And she threatened me that if I didn't take his story off my YouTube, I would have to face the consequences of it. I also, what has that got to do with her? She didn't answer me. Now, about 2 months later, police were out looking for me. 2 police women. They got in contact with me. He says that a judge from the legacy courts has put a case against me. Has taken a case against me. And I said, what for? They wouldn't tell me. They wanted me to go to the police station and make a report, which I did. No problem. I made a report. They put it on tape. Apparently, this judge hacked into my site, my private site. People come to me and tell me their stories. It's a Arthur Rafferty Foundation, a victims group. She was able to hack into my site and take out 4 to 5 stories, and with the police, hand in hand, working together, made a story out of that. And they put that story in the hands of the PPS. That's the Public Prosecution Service. I don't call them that. I call them the Protestant Police Service, because they work for the police. The head constable is the top man there, and most of the staff are ex-police. And they came. I'll go to court there just 2 or 3 weeks ago. I didn't even get speaking in court. Never even asked me any questions at all. Fined me in £500 just to keep me quiet. And they're working hand in hand with their big brothers in the police to make sure that I keep quiet. But it won't keep me quiet. I'm here to fight for my father's justice, and he gets justice, I'll be happy. Over on day.
Yeah, what's interesting is they never put it in. They never put it into Belfast court prosecutions on the internet. Neither did the media report on that. That's very strange.
Because on the PPS have no love for me at all. Because I've had 2 or 3 meetings with them. The time Bar McCoy was there. Done nothing for my fella. Wouldn't even let my fella have an inquest. And the Attorney General here in Northern Ireland wouldn't do an inquest on him. So they've done everything in their power to just adopt this case as if it never happened. But believe you me, I'll make sure that they know it did happen.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I'll be doing the same now for the next 4 to 6 weeks. I'll be making sure that everybody in the know knows. And after that, it's up to people to talk, really. And I can understand because I know the way they go with inquests. Even if there was an inquest, it would only confirm the obvious. Shot dead by somebody, because inquests can't. They can't be the lawyer. They can't be the police investigating who did it, which is wrong. Really, our country's wrong. I think inquest should take that into account. Who committed the crime, or at least, who, not so much the individual, but how they were murdered. If it was murder, or how they died if it wasn't murder, and the other relevant people involved. I mean, in the murder case, you'd make sure that the police were investigating. So that's what an inquiry is supposed to be. Sorry, not the inquiry. Oh God. Yeah, I'm losing my marbles. The post-mortem. Yeah.
So, Ollie, the way I'm looking at it is, why are these people so interested in Arthur Rafferty Jr.? They have done everything in their power to stop me getting justice for my fella. They've even involved the corrupt courts now, because the courts are run by the British government. And the lawyers and solicitors here, I can't even get one to take his case on. My fellow worked hard all his life at the Belfast Docks, so therefore he is entitled to get legal aid. Yet they turned him down for that. And when I applied for legal aid on his case, they wouldn't give me it. So you have to put 2 and 2 together on and say they're doing everything in their power. So that's why.
Well,
my last step is to take my case to Dublin, try and get the fellow's case brought to the European Court of Human Rights, where hopefully I will get some justice for my father.
Well, I was going to say normally you would expect some good service, but yeah, why do they do this? I don't really know. Just to read out, if anybody knows anything about the Scappaticci murders, and if you don't want to talk to us directly, yeah. Do go into Operation Keneva. There's a phone number there, UK 01 234 858 298, or email kenova@met.police.uk. That's Keneva, kenova@met.police.uk. The bit I'm concerned with there, they give a Bedfordshire phone number, but a Met Police email address, which is very weird, because they're 2 separate organisations, or supposed to be. Yeah, really weird.
Andy, this is only a front for to let the people here see that they're doing something. What are they going to do? The new Scappaticci, they have him over there. As a matter of fact, he was up in court there recently over there with them, and the Met was with him. They take him to court, and he didn't come out the front door, he came out the back door. Everything's there to suit him. So that special branch police in 1974, every word he said to me, Andy, is the truth. He said, "I'm sorry, Arthur, you'll never get any satisfaction in your fellow's case. This man cannot be allowed to stand trial. And his words are true. And everything the police are doing, the courts are doing, these people are doing to me, it's just trying to shut me up. Anybody else? Now, I've spoke to people all the time. I'm speaking to them in the Arthur Rafferty Foundation, and they are amazed at how long I'm staying. I'm here fighting these people. 44 years I've been fighting them, and they've hit me with everything bar the kitchen sink, but I'm still here. And I'm sure my father up above there is watching and saying, there you are, the wee man's not going to give up.
Just for reasons, is it nostalgia reasons? No. Just to show people how much you remember your dad or love your dad, and this is why you're doing it. Just give us a few examples of what you remember about your dad. And you said he was a dock worker and so on, and even bringing your mum for a little bit, things you remember about.
What I remember about my father, he was strict. He was a big man, and he feared no one. He worked at Belfast docks. He's a docker. He worked along with me and my brother Tommy. We were dockers. And I boxed amateur and professional. And his job was to carry my gear to the clubs, to the King's Hall, to the Ulster Hall. We boxed in Manchester. He was over with me. He loved doing that. He was there as if he was my trainer. And he enjoyed every minute of it. And for them, piece of scum from Sinn Féin they come and blew him away. They disgust me.
You was a boxer then, Arthur?
No, me. I was a boxer.
Yeah, you.
And he carried my gear. He watched me training. He tamed me. He dragged me down. Wherever I went, he went. And that's why I'm called after him, Arthur Joseph Rafferty. And plus, my wee granddaughter has a wee baby boy. And his name, Arthur Joseph Rafferty III. And I hope he grows up with the same temperament as me. Because all these tapes, I have them all copied out from. So he'll be able to play them and get justice for his great-grandfather. Because my father was a worker, and he worked at the Belfast docks. The docks was packed with ARA, a.k.a. Sinn Féin ARA. You have to do what they tell you. They got the best of everything. My father fought them long and hard with me and my brother Tommy. We never agreed with them at all. And that was what caused him his death. And it took not one to do my father, it took 5 of them. With the help, of course, of the police and the army, because at that time, 1974, in Belfast, the Shankill butchers were murdering people left, right and centre. And all them streets in North Belfast was packed with Saracens, with tanks, with police on foot, with army on foot. Yet that night, when they murdered my father, they took him out of that pub and walked him round 500 yards round all them streets and shot 12 rounds at him. And 12 rounds from a normally rifle on there. At that time of the night, you must have been able to hear that all over Belfast. And there was 4 police stations within, one up the top of the Antrim Road, one in York Road, one in North Queen Street, and there was an army camp across the park just. And they had all that time to do that. No police, no nothing. That in itself makes it funny. You have to ask yourself, where was the police? Where was the army at that time? And I've asked the police that time and time again, got no response at all from them.
Yeah, because if that particular era, was notorious for the guns, we've seen it on TV. They're not just in one area; they're in every area. They're in every street. The protection, so-called protection, and why wouldn't they be? Certainly, they had to be, wouldn't they? If they're doing the job right, they have to be outside of that street in Newington Street, knowing that that's an RRA safe house.
Yeah.
They'd have to be somewhere near there, even if it wasn't the tanks or the... Yeah, because there was tanks. Well, I call them tanks. They look like tanks. They weren't tanks, but they were vans that looked like tanks. They should have been there, even if they wasn't. There would have been people there, the intelligence people, couldn't do anything. In fact, one person told me a couple of months ago on one of the other shows, you can't even let wind in Belfast without somebody else smelling it or seeing it. Yeah, in them days.
And as I was saying, on the other time, the Shankill butchers were running mad in North Belfast. They were cutting people's throats and everything. And you couldn't get walking, but you were through against the wall. Who are you? Where are you going? And that's it. Yet at that time, he had all the time in the world to do that. They had all the time. Two of them coming out of the house, shooting 12 rounds at my father, walking back into the house, putting the gun away, close the door, walk down the street again, past my father, into a taxi, and down in the Lodge Road. They had all that time. Not one cop or one police about. You have to ask yourself, how did that happen?
I also wonder why, if that was a safe house, they didn't shoot your dad and then run back into the safe house.
Yeah.
Because that was easier than running down the street, maybe.
Well, it shows you that the police knew that was a safe house for them, and that they'd used that house time and time again to shoot people. And when they finished with it, they put their gun back in there. It's safekeeping. And even on I asked the police many times, did you ever go into the house and check the people who lives in it? Was it flats or what? Who was there? No response. They wouldn't answer them. To me, it seems it's a case of it's a right-wise right from the word go, and just my father was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, but if you lived in the docks, sorry, if you worked in the docks, his local pub was near, the street he was murdered in.
Yes.
And he was doing nothing less than just going to the pub on a normal day, as he did before, So
the only thing that annoys me, and I've asked the police this time and time again, but they have never answered me. How was I left my father at 4:30 that day, finishing work? I left him round to a pub called Bonnie Volry's, a wee pub in the Dockland itself. And he usually drinks there to about 5:30 or 6 o'clock and then goes home. My father was taken out of that pub and brought up to a hole in the wall, which is up on the Antrim Road. And I've asked him why. Because the fellow never drank in that bar. He always drank in his own wee bar where all the dockers were.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to originally say he obviously wasn't in the wrong place at the wrong time, but
no.
Now you've explained that he was in the wrong place.
Yeah, he was. It's not that he was in the wrong place. He was brought there.
Yeah. Intentionally.
And then they brought him from there round to Newington Street, and they murdered him. Like, I wouldn't... My father, as I'm saying, Andy, was a hard mighty good faith. Because none of us, his sons, would even talk back to him. He would hit your thump very quick. But it took 5 of them to come and take my father out.
And he even survived that for a little while, didn't he, for a few days?
Well, he survived that for almost 4 weeks. The doctor told me in the hospital that night, when I went up about 9:30, 9:45. He said, Arthur, I'm sorry your father won't last the night. A strong, 5 bullets in him, an arm-lead rifle, high-velocity rifle, close range. It should have blew him in two, so it should. Yeah, he lasted almost 4 weeks.
He had truth on his side. That's why he lived longer.
But the death he got on there, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And why should that piece of garbage, Scapatese, living over in London, lifted and led by the British government, treated nearly as one of their heroes? I'm surprised on I see in the paper, I read the paper all the time, hoping that the Queen knights him or something. because he would deserve that for all the work he done for the British government.
Yeah, worse things have happened.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise me.
But it's not just him that murdered people either, is it? I mean, there's going to be others that murdered. Why are they not in the limelight? Like Scappaticci, you know. We know he murdered people. It's not proven yet. But you know, why isn't any other people in the limelight for murdering? Because he couldn't have done that all on his own.
No, he was told what to do only by the head, by the people above him. And they're running about now. One of them's down in Dublin, is a TD in Dublin, and the other ones here are working in Stormont, lifted and led by the British government, because they done work for the British government, and this is payback time.
No, I'm saying, but there must be other people like him that murdered others.
Oh, of course there is.
Why are they not on the... there is a few, I mean, I saw it on Facebook, you know, justice for different names. I've forgotten them now. But, yeah, it's very similar, but they're not, the people who murder these other people, they're not in the main press all the time. Just seems to be Scappaticci now. That smells in itself. Because
well, Scappaticci, you see, he was their page catch. He was the jewel in the crown of the RUC and the British government. He was the top man in the ARA. He was head of the Northern Squad. And they recruited him. That was their praise catch.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Let's say Joe Bloggs murdered 20 people.
Yep.
Peter Smith murdered 100 people. That's not important. We won't talk about that. Let's just talk about Scappaticci. And that bit is unfair because there's other families equally important. We know this is a jewel in the crown, the gold one. If we can get one family about Scappaticci or one good witness, we know we're going to blow him in jail for the rest of his life. Yeah. Although he's probably going to end up getting away with it because of health or his age, which is not fair either.
That's wrong. That's right. Another thing on it, well, all my inquiries, because I've been inquiring, I've been walking the streets for years, looking for my father's murders and what happened. Many people who I've met says Scappaticci was a psychopath. He loved questioning people and trying to pacify the people, saying they'd be okay. You sit there on the weekend back, and he went outside and he came back in again. The people sitting down in the chair wondered back of the head. That was his favorite. Shoot them in the back of the head. So what type of a person is he? That's why the police have him and the British government have him as their jewel in the crown. When they got him working for them, they got the top man. And that's why nothing will ever happen to him. The only way he'll die is he'll die of maybe a heart attack or something. Because apparently he was in Manchester Hospital there recently. He took a heart attack.
Oh, okay. God's listening then.
Yeah.
Whoever God is, yeah, anyway.
Well, God's good.
Yeah, I mean, truth is good, and spiritual beings, and, you know, we all have a God. It doesn't matter who they are, whether it be the God in the sky with Jesus being his son, you know, that's fine. Whether it's Jehovah's Witnesses, whether it's all the other religions, we all have a God, and it doesn't matter which one's which. Justice will be done one way or the other. But we want somebody to go to jail for this, or at least, you know, for this particular murder, be charged with it. Okay, we understand if people are ill themselves or, you know, they're old and they're dying, you know, they may not be put in jail, but at least the recognition of being charged with something that we know that's the truth, but we can't prove it, would help a little bit. It's a bit like your asbestosis as well. If only they acknowledge
I'm not wasting any more time. My father was murdered 44 years ago, and the police have not even arrested one person, brought nobody to court, nothing. They've just put this case on the shelf, a cold case. They want it kept quiet, and that's it. They want me to stop talking so they get out of it then.
We're not going to let that happen because
not as long as I live on it.
Even if we
have two serious illnesses, but it doesn't stop me.
Yeah, even if we only get 5 people to listen. I mean, so far there've been 299 on the first show, and less on this show, 150 odd at the moment. But they've all been listening for 5 minutes or more, so we know we've opened up a debate tonight, and we'll keep on doing this. We're going to have another show tomorrow, the 11th of April, and we'll just keep doing this once or twice a week until, we'll just find different angles. And what's really annoying is, and I keep repeating it, the Irish police tipped off the IRA about planned arrest. Now, that is bloody, that's not right either. Maybe thick here, but what did Dublin or the Irish government in Dublin or the Irish police even have anything to do with tipping off the IRA? Yes, I knew it was a war about Irish being south and north, but why would they go out of their way to stop the IRA people being arrested? Maybe that's where the root of the problem is, the Irish police.
Well, all we can do is keep playing on, We're
going to have to keep doing it, every single time. I'll change the titles every time, I
appreciate that, Donnie, because without your help, you can't go to the papers here now, because everything you tell the papers, they have to ask the police and MI5, is it okay if we print that? They are handicapped now. There's no freedom of the press now, so it's not. That's why it takes shows like yours to bring this news to the public and let the public know what's happening behind closed doors here. The same as the courts we have here in Belfast, behind closed doors, kangaroo courts.
Well, like I said earlier on, we'll do tomorrow night's show, and I'm out all day because what I've told you during the break, I've got to be out all day to see my daughter, but I'll be here, at 7:45, and we'll do the show again. And even if we only get half an hour to talk, we'll get half an hour. If we get 2 hours, we'll talk for 2 hours. The important thing is, with Google, is to change the title of the shows. So tonight's show is called, second half is called Rogue Irish Police Officers Colluded with the IRA during the Northern Ireland Troubles. The earlier one was Arthur Rafferty shot dead by Freddie Scappaticci, alleged PSNI and Ombudsman cover-up. And then tomorrow I found 2 other ways of doing it. Google doesn't lie. He'll put Google being a search engine, they'll put that story into people's faces, especially when you talk to Scappaticci. But I will urge, the Chief Inspector of Bedfordshire, get in touch with me. I request that in an email. Let's see if we can move forward on getting justice for Arthur Rafferty Senior, because that would prove, that these people are good people. But if they can't, then they can't. Then that means, the inquiry is going to waste multi-millions of pounds. The biggest inquiry in UK and Ireland history, for long. In fact, it's probably the biggest inquiry cost ever. But why use the police force? That is my problem with that.
Yes.
Why not use another organisation? I'm not sure which one, but maybe an ombudsman service, that's in Europe or even in South Africa, even Australia, even, but somebody independent of the problems. But they use a police force. We know from a lot of stories that the police ombudsman service in Northern Ireland, in England it's called the police complaint service or the IPCC. Yeah. They're now changed to another name. But all these services, and I've done a Freedom of Information request, and simply asked if your local police, the Police Complaints Commission, the MP in the area and the government for that MP, blah, 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 about 12 different questions, and European called Interpol and the international police as well. Sorry, that is the international police. But the Europol and health people in Europe and so on are corrupt, and they're all colluding with each other. What the hell can we do? And there's not one police force, not one organisation that I emailed, and I've done about 2,000 of them. They all come back and said, well, that's not our remit. You need to talk to them. I've already talked to them. And they said the same. That's not our remit. We can't deal with that. Ask them. And that is where you get a cover-up. I don't think they're doing it deliberately. I mean, let's face it. We're talking about the when countries and different organisations are involved. I don't think it's a cover-up. But you would have thought that one agency could have dealt with that. We do have the National Crime Agency, but they're as corrupt as they come. So
you see, all you have to look at is Princess Diana's murder in England.
Absolutely.
No one's charged. No one brought to court. That's it. Something like my father. They just wanted to go away. And all the police forces they have in England, they can't sort that out because they're told not to.
Yeah, because, I mean, what happened on that case, I've only got 2 minutes, but I mentioned that at the beginning of the last show, I think, different cases where it's unsolved. Well, Princess Diana was allegedly murdered because the drunken chauffeur was drunk and he whatever. Then they go for the paparazzi. It's their fault. But no, she was murdered, end of.
Of course she was murdered, and the people, the dogs in the street know that. Yet all so-called police forces, Scotland Yard, supposed to be the best police force in the world. No one called about it. No. Same as a poor fella here, murdered by these fucking scum here. Not one brought to justice for it.
Jill Dando was murdered as well, not by the person that got charged for it. In both cases, they wanted to bring down the royal family and the Rothschilds for money laundering and child abuse. But, they get murdered, they get shut up. So they bring in Camilla Parker Bowles and that new one on the block, the lady that's supposed to be pregnant. She probably is pregnant, but it wasn't by natural means. But anyway, that's another story.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
All right, then. I've got a long day tomorrow, so I'll tell you what, let's end the show now, and I'll have a quick word after the show. But don't forget, everyone, email Andy at freedomtalkradio.co.uk, go onto Arthur Rafferty's YouTube channel, or just Google the story. And if you do want to help, and you do care, and your heart's free, just pick up the phone, pick up the email, or messages. We want the truth. We're not bothered about if the truth is not what we want to hear, but the truth would be good. But you've got to prove it as well. From Andy and Arthur Rafferty, we wish you a good night.
Thank you.